people to hear me. Um, I'm doing a live earlier today. Of course, I may do one at night. I do my stuff differently. But anyway, I want to talk about, people have been saying things about the P.Diddy situation and, things about him and things that I noticed about him and that I've taken a hint. I always try to be fair. I mean, with allegations, you know what I mean, and things that's being said about a person, I always try to make it as a verity. That's a word I made to make it be fair. On both sides. You know what I mean? When it comes to Diddy, let me talk about what I observed, because I don't say I know, but what I observed about this man, to humble myself and say, as far as artists go, it's no question I love rap artists. You know what I'm saying? What I do love about them, there could be a similarity for those who are prophetic, that there's something in common, like they rhyme, and sometimes when the Most High is giving you a word, it can rhyme too. So I don't know. So when I'm saying I like them, I'm just saying, I get it when I'm hearing their music. Like I get that, even though I've never been anywhere near their hood or anything like that. And like I said, God has given me something to tell me through a rapper. So I just thought I'd bring that out. But what I'm saying, I'm not here to be in defense of him. I don't condone any violence of any kind of any sort. Um, you know, you know, I appreciate Miss Cassie, and she's a very beautiful woman, and we're not to shame or hate and humiliate. But before I get to that part, what I'm saying is, you know, when I'm hearing the music, sometimes I feel like I'm there when the rap artists, I'm feeling what they're saying. So what I'm saying with Diddy, as a worker, as when he's putting tracks down, he don't play games. I mean, he had his show, when he had that show, the reality show, he don't play no games. When he comes, when he's about to put, he don't play with his money. When he's about to, put in work with people, he has his policy, because I mean, a lot of people kind of got it twisted with the Justin Bieber thing. I don't know this man and what he does in these senses, but I'm saying I know he's a worker. He's serious about his work. And so he's basically trying to tell artists, because anybody know rap artists, they like to party, get with girls and stuff, and people who are about their money, they're saying, nah, you know, I want you to be having this track done before the weekend is up, before this week is up. So he'll he has a room in his home or whatever where he's saying, hey, you need to brainstorm on your work, whatever you finna put out there on this track. That's Diddy, meaning that when you get ready to put your work out there, let's get this done. I ain't got, I got several different artists to work with. So when he's saying, okay, let's stay tonight, it may be in a sense of I'm just trying to get my money. Forget the girls and the parties and the food. Let's lay these tracks down. That's Diddy. He wants to get that stuff done. All the other stuff I don't know about, but I'm just saying he's about his money. And so when you come in, you mean no game. You ain't playing no games. Put your tracks down. Put your words in. Whatever you need to do, and get done. I can't speak for anything else, but that's just what I do since of Diddy. Okay. Whether I know or not, I ain't saying. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying that's where I feel with him. And so, like I said, now he has this trial, and you know, there's just some things, that I wonder. You have to understand everything ain't everything when you're dealing with those people. Everything ain't everything. You have to think about it. I'm just telling the truth. Diddy got some copyrights. He got some copyrights out there. You know what I mean? R. Kelly has some copyrights out there. You know, it was once said that, and I don't know the truth on this, that Bill Cosby was looking to take over NBC, either NBC or CBS. I don't know one of them. So when you have these kind of power moves, and there's a predominant race that's in that kind of media, that they're not willing to want one of us to take over. And I'm just saying that they're not wanting them to take over. You have your NFLs and your basketballs. How many coaches? I mean, how many big people at the top? You know what I mean? You have to. I'm just being real logical with it. You don't have a lot of black color in the top, and so they believe in keeping it that way. They believe in keeping it that way, and I'm not at all advocating for anybody doing anything wrong. When you do things wrong, and that's what I want to say. Some of these men becoming the Samson, man. You know what I mean? Leave stuff alone. What kind of party they in. If you ain't into it, get out of there. If you into it, keep your business out of stuff. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say. Because when that's how some of my brothers be doing it, man. And that's what I'm trying to say. Always check things. Yeah, as a woman, I'm saying check things. You know, get to know the understanding of it. Because if you're doing business with someone, you want to know who this person is. You know, who is this person? And so that's what I'm saying on that. With Diddy and this whole trial thing, you know what I mean? And, that right there is all about somebody wanting something. Somebody wants something, whether it's a copyright, whether he did something, maybe he owes something. You never know. But, they're using Cassidy, and you know what I mean? I don't know what the bond was with them, but, it's just, that had to be broken up. Hey, for anyone coming in the chat, chicken nuggets, queen, whatever. So I'm just trying to say, there is an agenda going. It is an agenda, and everybody see it. Nobody want to talk about it. They just go along and say, "Oh, Diddy, you shouldn't be kicking that girl." I mean, I can't see the video where he's kicking on her, but it's definitely to separate them, and that's just something that she had to go through, and there's a humiliation ritual taking place right there in that courtroom of not just shaming one of them, but both of them. Now she has to talk about what she did sexual to him, and those kind of people, they like that. They like that. So, you know what I'm saying? They want to hear what was said, or what she did, out of her own mouth. Out of her own mouth. Because let me tell you, I ain't gonna say what I had a case. When I was trying to put a restraining order on the two people before this got so out of hand, I tried to put a restraining order on, and I couldn't get to court. But you know what I mean? They trying to do Diddy, and they definitely trying to do Cassie. It's something going with that, and I'm just, you can say I'm speculating, but I'm just saying what I see. They definitely doing humiliation rituals because that's how they kind of operate. And like I said, you know what I mean, with me, you know what I mean, certain things have been done against me. You know what I mean? And I'm not in the industry like that. I haven't been with anyone like that, and I just be regular on Twitter, and I'm saying, hey, if a celebrity respond to me, they respond to me. Or on these YouTube streets, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just how I take it. We all trying to make it, and things like that. And some have, some have, and it's just more about I'm not here to make money and hustle them. It's just out of respect, your work, because that's all I care about. When I say I like rappers, your work, what you're saying in the music, I don't just really give kudos to anybody and everybody. So If I'm complimenting you on your work, it's a real compliment for me. I don't need nothing else from it. So, you know what I'm saying? I just truly believe, that's the problem with our people. We don't understand. We don't understand that these things go on, and then he has that money, and people think, okay, Diddy's, and they get in that spirit of pride and saying, I'm a billionaire. Kanye West was doing that. I'm a billionaire. They can't touch me. And so now all of a sudden his endorsement's going away. You know what I mean? He's doing something strange with swastikas, and I'm not understanding it. You know what I mean? And I think, and I can't talk for him either, but I'm just saying what I see is just, he's wanting to belong to those kind of those people. He's wanting to get in there, and they're not letting him in. And so, those other kind of Jews, and what happened with the Hitler thing. So he trying to throw that at them as a intimidation tactic. That's what I'm seeing. But you know what I mean? And so that's what I'm saying. I'm sorry, I got a mosquito bite right on my leg. And so anyway, anyway, that's just an observation. Probably others have seen it too. And I'm just saying, they do this at a particular time or day. You're still dealing with the fact that the economy is crashing. Okay, the economy's still crashing, and so who else is there to pick on but celebrities? They have all kinds of money, you know what I mean? And so you never know. They could be saying, hey, pay me the money, give me the copyright. You know what I mean? So, Stephen Darby had talked about some of these things, shouts out to him, blessing to him and his wife. You know what I mean? God bless them. But, I just wanted to put that out there. That, I'm just saying the whole thing, with that, I debated about doing things about Tory Lane because I don't really know him like that, but I see some things in his thing, the simple fact that he was an independent artist. And, because I'm saying, the whole Meg Stallion thing, she's still flourishing and doing things, but you never know. These people, they operate through those spiritual realms, and that's what I'm saying on that. You know what I mean? I ain't saying it's so, but I'm just saying so. So I mean, I'm just seriously, you have to protect your home and your finances, and you know what I mean. And I can't advocate more enough to say that you got to be in with the will of the Lord. Come on, y'all making it like it's so tough. But then when you be going through, you be still calling on Jesus and asking us for prayers. No, if you get right before the Most High, let Him clean you, let Him purify you, then He can do these things. So, I'm also talking about his sexuality, because people keep saying, Diddy's probably not caring about it because little do you know, what's going on in this industry. That's, you're like, okay, you call me out. What about this person? You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that there's a lot of homosexuality in the industry. And so, so he's like, okay, you call that out, but you know what I mean? And so, what I'm saying is that, you have to understand when you're dealing with rap artists that have made a success, that every day, any beautiful woman that they see or woman that they're attracted to, it's nothing for them to get with them. They just, you know what I mean? Those who are in that worldly, every day they can sleep with multiple women to the point where that's a lustful demon and you're fornicating. So you have to understand spiritually that Satan is in on this. So when you have these demons on you, it becomes a euphoria to try something different because you're not getting where you need to be as a man. They're not getting there because they have this all the time. After a while, there's only so many beautiful women that you can get on to. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so therefore, I'm just saying, how could Diddy be gay? That's what you're saying. But in the industry they have their oath, You know, in order to keep their money, you know, there's certain things in their fame and status to do things. And so, you know, that's where I am, that's where I think the Most High was trying to put the brakes on me, you know what I mean? As far as doing things like that. So I'm just saying, the judge is on. You never know. And then they threw T.D. Jakes in there. You never know. He might have been asking him, through a party to distract him so he can have him praying for him, delivering from him. You never know. You know what I mean? You never know. So I just try not to judge. Yeah, I say things that's a possibility, but I'm just saying from what I do know, these things do happen. And so, I'm praying that, whatever you got going on, you come out of that, like I said, I've said it before, when men have things going on with them and you're a woman, you're with them, they're going to take it out on you. And that's exactly what he did. He took the abuse out on her because he's got something going on. You need to tell him, hey, I need to get out of here. We ain't seen eye to eye. We ain't seen eye to eye. We need to get out of here. We need to get out of here. Separate, when men have that, and I've been there, they take it out on you, whether they had that in their background or not. And so that's just all I'm saying. You got to get the help. You got to know when to leave, and understand that there's humiliation ritual taking place. So when you see it, you know it, you call it out. And so I pray for them. I hope everything is well with them in their situation. I got my own, but this is something that I'm just chiming in on as far as the case goes. How they're trying to get into details of stuff because they want to see, you know, the masses want to hear, oh, you know what I mean. So all's well. I just did a quick live. Yep, I might be on tonight. So Lord help us. All right, may the blessings be to you.